Welcome to another tutorial session with the Magic Maker. I remain Rocky Robots. Don't forget our sponsor, Active Videos Online. You could check them on IG at Active Videos Online, then on YouTube, AL Online. Kindly interact with your content, and you can look me up on LinkedIn at Firemi Oluwatobiloba Instagram, Rockrobot Designs, Rockrobot Bond, and Rockrobot Writes for various content on graphics, filmmaking, and write-up. So let's get this video started. In today's video, we're going to be looking at, let's check my IG. Okay, I have it here. We're going to be looking at how to design a flyer or a poster design. The only difference between a flyer design and a poster design is that for a flyer, it is very short. So I'll just show you the difference here from my page. Let's just check Rocky Robots. Okay, let's check Rocky Robots Bond, Rocky Robot Designs rather. So that's my visual design page. Now, we're going to be making this is a flyer. So we're going to try to recreate this from the scratch. So you don't need to worry yourself about some things. I'm just going to be making this from the beginning. So this is a typical example of a flyer. The only thing I know that is a difference between a flyer and a poster is a poster is usually longer in terms of length. So I'm just looking for one here. So this is what you could call a poster. This is a poster design for a party. I have another one here. This is a confirmation design. So this is another thing you could call a poster. So that it's different. It's not looking like a regular flyer. And which other one? I think this is just the basics. Okay, yeah, this is the main poster. So you can see. So this is a poster, and the other smaller ones are flyers. So let's take our sample. So it will be right on our screen. Empower Digital Training. This is what we'll be making. So let me see if I can save the image. Save as. I can't save it here, but I have it in my file explorer. Data, Opera downloads. Nuesa. Okay, this is it here. So this is what we're going to be making. So let's launch our Photoshop. We're going to be looking at the whole processes from scratch. So you don't need to stress yourself with a prior knowledge on knowing what to do. Our lessons are going to be project-based. So once you can dedicate your time to follow through with the videos, you'll be able to understand every single thing that we are doing. Now, the first thing you need to know is the size of what you design, and it's very easy to know the size. Once you look at what you have here, you see that it is a square, but how else can I know? You check your details pane. If you are not seeing this, okay, this is Windows 11, it's not like Windows 10, but there is a way I arrange its properties. No. Options. No, not here. Let's go to this PC. There used to be some options here where you could actually make the details pane available or not. Yeah, this is it. Very good. Let's go back. View, show, details pane. So you see that nothing is there now. If you go back, view, show, details pane. So this is the dimension of the flyer. So if I click on it now, you see the size. If I don't click on it, you see another thing. So this is the size, 2000 by 2000 pixels. So just do Ctrl N. That's a shortcut for creating a new document. What I'll just do is I could just create a preset. The essence of creating a preset is so that we don't have to be doing this 2000 by 2000. So do I want to use an artboard? If I don't, we're going to be using artboards especially when we're looking at carousel designs or designs for IG. When I say carousel designs, this is what I mean. Let's check Rocky Robot Writes. So this is a very good example of a carousel design. So a lot of influencers use it as content. So this is a very good example of carousels. So we're going to be using artboards when we're doing this thing, carousel designs. But for a one-pager design, we don't really need to check the artboard options. So if I do create now, anytime I want to create a new style, you see the artboard feature is checked on, but that's not what I want. So you ensure to uncheck the artboard section. When you are designing for web, ensure that your resolution is 300 so that you can get enough richness from each pixels of your design composition, and we're using RGB. CMYK is when you are designing for prints. So in case you are considering the color mode, maybe you want to design something that will be printed on a magazine, on anything, once it has to do with print, use CMYK, and the C is for cyan, the M is magenta, the Y is yellow, and the K is black. So the idea is that printing machines, they print 4 different colors on top of each other to actually give you what you see. So you also have to know what you are targeting. So let's use RGB because we are designing for web. Advanced options, don't color manage. You don't need to stress yourself with this. You don't need to stress yourself with this. Then square pixels, because that's what we're using. 8 bits, yeah, and that's it. If I create now, anytime I want to create another one, I have to be creating from the scratch, but I can just save it as a preset. So once I click on that option, I can call it square. I can just call it a square. Save as preset. So now, anytime you create, let's just cancel. Let's start from the beginning. Ctrl N. Once you come to saved, you'll be able to see the preset you created. So this is square. So you don't need to stress yourself with the details and everything. Once it is just there, just click on create. Now, if you look at the composition of our image, we'll see that, okay, we need a laptop, we need a design with a laptop, something looking techy, because we are talking about digital training here. So one of the first things we need to source for is an image like that. So a good website I like to use is Freepik. So I'll just check laptop. I could just say laptop background. And remember, you're trying to be creative, so it's not compulsory you try to mimic exactly what you see. The essence of having this image is to sort of give us an idea of what we want to create. So we know that, okay, we want to achieve something similar to this image we have on the screen. So let us look for something similar. We can use this, but then there is no image in front of this laptop, and we're supposed to be, okay, we have data analysis here, so this is cool, but this is empty. I guess a bonus lecture for this particular lesson is we are going to learn how to just add an additional screen to this, even though it is blank. So let's download this image, free download. We'll just wait for it. So this is my process. Anytime I'm out of ideas, I just visit somebody's account, or just check for various designs, then I try to create the same thing from scratch. So let's go to Rocky Course. So this is should see, and we're looking at flyer design. So I'll just call this materials. Paste it there. Now, my favorite way of opening a file, we've looked at that already. I just drag. Ensure that this is where you release your mouse. Now we're having this, but then we can't use this image because it is blank. So what we'll be needing to do is we want to fake a screen. So what can we put there? Let's use DaVinci. So DaVinci is Hollywood software for color grading, color correction, and filmmaking in general. So let's just use DaVinci. I have a thing for this particular software. Quite cool. So, but then you don't need to stress yourself. You can pull off any edits with Premiere Pro. Don't stress yourself with DaVinci unless you feel it is necessary or you want to upgrade your skill. Let's just wait for it to. I want to use their user interface. Let's open my last edit. So wait for it. All right, we're here. So let's use the color tab. Cool. You see that the screen looks intimidating. That's why I like it. Print screen. Once you click on your print screen key on your keyboard, it takes a snapshot of your screen. So the next thing I do is I come to Photoshop. If you want to save that image separately, you can open sticky notes. Let me create a new one. Ctrl V. You see that the image is there. Then you can click on it, save image to download it. Let's go and save it on should see. So screenshots. Now, where's the beautiful part? The beautiful part is when we come here, we see our screenshot there and the image is saved. But another way, you don't need to stress yourself doing this, coming here and dragging it to Photoshop, dropping it there, because this is what we want to do. So once you do a print screen function, it copies the image automatically for you. So all you just need to do is Ctrl V for paste. Ctrl V, and you see that it is there. But then you see that the image is very small, and if we stretch this image, you see that after a while, when we continue stretching it and resizing it like this, then make it very small. Then Ctrl T again. You see that we've lost a lot of information. Why? We drag this as an image alone. If we convert it to a raster, if we convert it to a smart object, right click, convert to smart object. Even if you shrink it very tiny, Ctrl T again to bring it back up. You see that the pixels are still there. So what a smart object helps you do is it keeps the information so you don't lose your image. So Ctrl V. Now what we want to do is we want this image to be on the screen of this laptop. So the first thing is Ctrl T to bring up your transform so you rotate. But then this is not all we can do. So what we can do is Ctrl T again, right click on it, distort. Okay, but the fact that this is here to be stressing, okay, we can still work with this anyway. So let's zoom in, Ctrl Enter, Z for zoom in, V, Ctrl T, distort. So you ensure the edges align. Another thing I like to do is, let's just stop this, turn it off. Ctrl apostrophe to bring up your grids. Yours may not be this size, so if you want to see exactly what I'm having, you come to Edit, Preference, Guides and Grid. So this is my settings here. That's why you can see this level of subdivisions. If I change it to 45, you see that it becomes more tinier, more detailed. If I change it to 10, you see that it is little. So once you can just use the exact guideline and subdivisions I have here, you're going to get the same thing. Now the essence I like to do this is just like technical drawing. Even for artists, when you want to do similarities and enlargement, so you could just get an artwork, roll lines over it, then in your own you try to mimic the exact same thing. So we can zoom in here or activate your ruler, Ctrl R, zoom into this edge. Now bring down your ruler to that particular edge. Bring up another ruler there, just to get that edge of the image. Ctrl O to zoom out. Let's zoom into the other anchor. Bring up your ruler here. And now Ctrl 0, zoom in. Now, this is the horizontal one. To get the vertical one, it's not compulsory I come here to get a vertical ruler or to get a vertical guide. I could still drag the horizontal one, then press the Alt key and it switch to becoming vertical. Ctrl 0 to zoom out. So bring this here. If I still want another one, I can drag it, use Alt key, then bring it there, Ctrl 0. So once I paste my screenshot, let me delete this. Ctrl V, I paste my screenshot, I remove that, then Ctrl T, distort. Okay, before we start doing that, let us convert it to a smart object so we don't get a pixelated image. Sorry. Convert to smart object, Ctrl C, distort. Now remember that this is just a phase in the goal we want to achieve. This is not, we've not even started designing our flyer, but this is part of the process. Zoom in to the edge. Alright, so from here we can actually move better. So bring this to this anchor here. I think I like this. Maybe I should be using the navigator more often. So I come to the second edge. Okay, and I have to zoom out a little, Ctrl minus. Since I'm still on distort, zoom in. So we're almost there. Alright. So let's zoom out. You see that we've almost done a perfect work. So this is enough. Let's just add, can we add a drop shadow? Drop shadow. Okay, that is too much. Let's reduce the opacity of the drop. It's still looking sort of fake. Distance. Spread. The size, let's use 5. Spread. I think let's just remove the spread. Stroke, let's just do a stroke, not that size, that's too much. Let's use a black color, the color of the laptop. So I think this is good enough to fake a screen. Now what we can now do is group both of them together, Ctrl G, call it PC screen. Now what we can do is we can drag this, just literally click and drag, bring it here. You see that? I convert it to a smart object, Ctrl C, Ctrl 0 to zoom out. So make it smaller. Please, when you want to resize images, don't resize, okay, everything is locked, but then always resize from the angle. Always resize from the angle. So this is what we want to do. Now, if we go back to the design we are trying to mimic, if we come back here, we say, okay, we have the laptop, but the thing is there's a few here, we sort of have like a dual tone. So the next thing we want to do is add a gradient map. This is off, or delete, add a solid color. Change the blend mode to, let's look for something cool. Something like this, we can reduce the opacity, or we can increase it. So let's use a darker color. So these are the processes you have to go through. It's not like there's a formula. You just have to keep trying until you get something that works. So I think this is not bad. Let's take this away. It's not bad. Let's try that one. Well, I don't like the brightness that is coming from there. So let's see, let's reduce the opacity. Let's add the background color, solid color black. So while we reduce the opacity of this, using the opacity, so I'm just sliding all through. Let's remove this, let's leave it there. Okay. So turn this on. Okay, or you know what? Instead of wasting our time with the background, let's just design first. Then we'll look for a suitable background later when we are done getting the basic layout. So the first thing we need are the two logos here, and we have this very bold text. So for you to get a very reasonable font, what I like to use is fonts.google.com. So what I do is I type the text I want, empower digital training. So you go for the categories of the fonts you want. I want a sans serif font that's without the anchors. Show variable fonts, pixels, everything. Custom. So this is where you check for the kind of fonts you want to use. So we can use this. Empower digital training, download font family. So Ctrl X, take it to materials. So what we do is we install the fonts. Install. Okay. So don't forget the name of the font. Serif display, DM serif display. Now, what we can do is empower digital training. Divide your screen. T to activate the text tool. Empower digital training. So you come to your character, you increase the size. Make everything cap lock. This is the roboto. Then let's use that font, DM serif display. Let's use this. So now the next thing we need to do is we need the two logos, which is NUESA and University of Lagos. So let's go to my NUESA folder, elements. This is a logo here, and this is NUESA's logo. So copy both of them. Drag it in. Why is that appearing that way? Let's see another one. File open. Okay. Maybe the way I was importing it was what was wrong, because it's still the same images we have here, and we are seeing it in two different ways. So close that. No? So this is what we're going to use. Convert to smart objects. Drag it here. Now it is looking like this. This is not actually what we want. So you drag your circle out. Hold the shift key to make it look like an ellipse. Enter. Then your logo in front of it. Just bring your logo in front. Then use a clipping mark. So what I do is I press the Alt key. So you press the Alt key, you hover over both images, and you'd be having this. So Ctrl C. Select both of them. You can move it here. Enter. Don't forget to always go back to the sample you are trying to recreate. Empower digital training, like that. So we need the NUESA logo as well. So take that in, make it smaller. Enter. What I can do is just group these two. Ctrl G, Unilag logo, enter, then make another circle. Alt click and drag to make another ellipse, then bring it here, clip it, Ctrl C, then Alt click like that, enter. So Ctrl G, call this NUESA. From here, to know they are the same size, just bring down your ruler. on the zoom in. Ctrl Z, or Z rather, V. So now you zoom in here to ensure that they tally. Oops, okay, click on that. Just use your arrow key to move it up, and that is good. Well, I really don't like those fonts. Let's just stick to a Roboto. Let's use Roboto. Black, bold. My training is double I. Training. Okay, so that's the center. To know the space between both of your elements, you can click on one, then Ctrl over the other. Let me click on the ellipse. I want the ellipse activated. Where is it now? Ctrl click and hover over your element. You see that the distance between is actually using the image. Let's use the rectangle. That's 72 pixels. So let's click on this circle for the Unilag logo and hover over text 51. So here was 72 and here is 51. So we need to push the logo further to the right. So we click here again, measure it, 73, so that's fair. So I can group this, shift click, then you call this, let's just call this title or heading or header. So for this, empowerment digital training. Okay. Let us try black. Motika, which other font? Let's do Montserrat. I have various variations of. Okay. I think black. Okay, this is bolder. But then fonts.google.com is a very good way to sample how your texts are going to look like. I hope I've not scattered this. If I have, we'll have to rearrange it again. 75, Mesa logo, 52. Okay, it is factoring in the image. Let me use the circle. 78. Let me use this circle, click Ctrl. 76, that's fair. So we've gotten the header. Don't let us worry about the background image yet. So the next thing is department. Let's just make a copy of this text. Alt click and drag. That's one way, Ctrl Z. Or I click on the text, I press Ctrl J, then I get another copy. I can now move that copy. Another way is to right click on the text and look for duplicate layer. So it asks you what you want to name it. You say OK. Then you can move that one around too. So these are the various things you could do. So the next thing is department. Okay, now it's in the center. Ctrl T. Should we make it smaller? Not yet. Let's change the text. Department. Now back to font.google.com. So if you come back to the home page, you see that it's very great. You could just check out how your texts are going to appear depending on what you want. You could do sans serif, network, refresh. Okay. So you'd actually see a lot of options. You could check everything if you want reset. It brings everything. Then you type in your text, empower. So you can see how the text will appear. So this is a very good way of sampling fonts. Or you could also use Adobe fonts if you have access to that as well. So talking about display departments, just depending on the design, if you don't want to stress yourself with trying what will work in Photoshop, you could just check what you feel will work there. If you like these fonts, you could just download it. I have Anton already. So Anton. Yeah, I remember downloading it. You see, so that's the font, but I don't want to use that. I just want to stick to the same font family. So let me use semi-bold italics. So you see that this is almost close to what we have here. Departments. Yes. Departments. It looks bold italics. Okay. The size, let's make it smaller. Ctrl Enter. Now the next thing we need is we need 3 texts, one for technology, one for media, and the other one for crypto. So we could just duplicate this or click and drag. Technology. V. Let's make it bold. Technology, let's see. Technology looks. This looks very big. Enter. Ctrl Z. 14. Black. Let's use black. So that's technology. The next one is media. And the other one is crypto. Ctrl Enter, crypto. So what we also realize is that we need the various icons that we have here. So we need an icon for technology, an icon for media, an icon for crypto. So let us use flat icons. So still from free pick, you can come to images. So you come to more, flat icon, or you just go directly to flaticon.com. And let's search for an icon relating to technology. Continue as working. Technology. Reset. Technology. Enter. Technology. So what we'll be doing is we'll have to pick something that will feel, anytime we see, remind us of something techy. So let's just download this for technology. We also need another one for media. So media. Media. What can we use for media? I want something cool, not too complex. Media. I'm not saying anything I like it. Media is also related to filmmaking. So most times when you are searching for resources online, if one word does not work, you can look for synonymous words to that same thing and search for it. Like now, for media, I'm not getting something that I feel would depict media yet. I'm saying, so these are the processes that goes into making a design from scratch. Let's do filmmaking. Or if you have a particular icon you feel represents media, you could just, I like this cinema, but I would love something thicker. I like this is good, but let's see if I can get some. Okay, this is good. This looks like a director's chair. This is also good, I like this. This is good. Okay. I don't want to use the exact same thing that we used there, okay? You could use this. Can I get something like this? Maybe a darker one? Okay, I like this with the stock image. Let's use this. Let's just download this as option 1, free download. Option 2, free download. Still for media. Remember, you try until you get what works. I like this, but I'm not using that. Okay, I think that's that for media. What else do we need to do? Crypto, enter. So something related to crypto I don't want to use, okay? So ensure you are creative. You don't have to copy exactly what you see. Just something similar is good. Let's use this. Yeah, I think this is good. So let's use that. So Ctrl J to see our downloads. Okay, it goes to Opera download. Click on it to open. Ctrl X, Alt F4. Where is our resources folder? Materials. Ctrl V. So this is supposed to show for tech. Let's drag it in Photoshop. Paste it there. But it is dark. You can't see anything, and our background is dark. So still clicking on your CPU, you go to color overlay. You see white. So I want to use white. Okay, okay. Ctrl T, then I can resize it. Enter. Now what I want to do is I want this word to be here, but I want it to be quite big. But I can barely see anything. So let's change the color of this background. Let's just use, it doesn't have to be perfect for now. Let's use what we can see. So I can turn the text off. What I want to do is I want to use non-destructive editing that we learned from our last class, using the layer marks to erase some part of the icon we have here. So activate my brush tool, make it smaller, zoom in, V. Make it bigger using the square brackets. So click here, hold shift, click the other way. Okay, remember the color has to be the other way. But don't let me stress myself doing this. Let me just use, let's use that. So let's use rectangular marquee tool. Okay, so while on that, let's just drag a square over it. Ensure that your layer max is on. Or what's it called? Is it called a layer max or a vector max? Okay, it's a vector max. Then you use your paint bucket. Ensure that it is black that is there. Click on it. It erases everything for you. Ctrl D to deselect. As simple as that. Now, where's our technology text? You see it's right there in the middle. So if you want some parts to be more visible, what you can do is still your layer max on. M. Highlight a particular part, swap the color to white. G for your gradients. White is supposed to be revealed. Okay, just revealing small. I hope you can see that. But this is a lot of stress. My brush tool, use it to paint white over it. You see that? So that is much more faster instead of using the paint bucket to continue clicking. Ctrl D to deselect. M again to activate the rectangular marquee tool. Then my brush tool, use it to paint white over it. You see, that's much more faster. Ctrl D. So that's for the technological icon. I'd like to group that. Ctrl G, tech icon. So if you want to make anything from scratch, these are the processes that goes into it. Tech icon, that's technology. But I don't know, the extra line there, I don't really like it. So let's do this. B, paint it black, X, yeah, I want it out, choose it. My brush, hardness, yeah, make it bigger, smaller. Then this two, just erase. Remember that your layer max has to be on. The layer max has to be on. Do the same thing here. Layer max, Ctrl 0 to zoom out. So this can be here. That's for technology. The next thing I want to do for is media. I'm stuck between these two. I'll just use this. But we're having black. Let's use the effect sections or the blending options. Let's change it to white. Okay. Ctrl T to make it smaller. Click and drag. If you want to use the same sizing, don't forget to use your ruler. So it gives you a fair idea of the measurements. V. You can make it smaller a little bit. Ctrl Enter. So we have that for this. But this media is not looking as thick as this one. So let's see what we can do. I can use a stroke where it's supposed to affect everything white. Outside, okay, normal, make it bigger. Alright, So what I want to do is I want the texture to be the same thing. I don't want it to be looking like there's no uniformity there. So let's try 7. Let's use 9. Oh, 7 to 9. Let's use 9. Okay. Alright, bring the media text. Let's check the size of this text for uniformity. 19.24. Crypto. It's 19.24, is it? Okay, it's not 19.24. Alright. Oh, media. Alright. 19.24. Enter. Well, I still can barely see it. Errors. Okay. Activate your vector marks. Use the marquee tool. M. G. Paint over it as usual. Ctrl D to deselect. Then you bring your media text in between there. So we've done for media and tech. Let's do this. Ctrl G. Take it outside. Under this. Media icon. Enter. Ctrl C. Move them next to each other. Then the last one is for the crypto. So that's fair. You can just copy layer styles if you don't want to stretch yourself. Just hold the Alt key down, hover over the F of X, click and drag. So you can copy the same layer style, but then it's copying the stroke. So you can just turn it off. So you turn off the stroke. So we just have the color overlay. Let's make this is looking a little bit bigger than the technology. Let me just resize this. Enter. Okay, it's out of it a little. Come down. Yeah. Down. Okay. So still the same thing. Don't forget your marquee tool. M for the marquee tool. Bitcoin. Where are you? Is this it? Okay, that was it. Activate your vector marks. G. Okay, Ctrl Z. Since our marquee tool is already activated, just hold the Shift key and click on the vector marks. That's not what we want. Try the Alt key. Okay, now that is what we want. So bring in your crypto text and put it right there. Put it right there. So crypto and where's the icon? Move them next to each other. Allow me to make the panel option for the thumbnail a little bit smaller so I can see more. Okay. Crypto. Alright. Go both of them, Ctrl G. Crypto icon. So what I want to do is just group the three together. Ctrl G. Call them departments or sub-departments. Then group these two together. Call this departments. Okay, so Ctrl C. Now we can move this around, make them smaller uniformly. But we're having an issue with the one we applied the stroke on. That will be the media icon. If you turn off the stroke, okay, so we have to resize the stroke. Let's use 3. Let's use 5. Okay, I think this is good. What else? Let's see. Our sample. Okay, we want them in the center. So this is the center of the three files. That's because of the technological text. How about this? I want it to snap. Okay. So is this aligned? It properties. Transform. Let's continue. What's the next thing? We need scroll acquisition. So you could make a copy of this. Ctrl J. Just drag it out. So Ctrl C. Alright, Ctrl Enter. Skill acquisition. Skill acquisition, okay. Text black. I think that's about what is there. Okay, bring it down. Now, if you don't want your file to be moving like that, like just hold the Shift key, so it keeps it in one axis. So let's say I'm moving it down and I hold the Shift key, it keeps it on that same axis. With the Shift key on, you can't move it anywhere, no matter how you shake your mouse. So we can just put this here. The next thing we need is this particular text, anticipate a webinar. We come back here. You can move this up. You can always rearrange this, so you don't really need to stress yourself about that. For the department, Ctrl C, move it up, enter. So you come here, your text. You can just click and drag to activate the text box. So what we can do is we can just copy everything that is here, Ctrl C, Ctrl A, Ctrl V, paste them here. So all of the information are here, but the text is too large. So what we can do is Ctrl Enter V, click on this. Now the essence of using a text box is that our text will always be within the bounds of the box, basically. So always be within the bounds. So make it smaller. Let's use 11. You can see that the text are appearing. We want to use regular. Regular is too shy. Let's use semi-bold. We don't want everything to be cap locks. We have everything cap locks here now. Okay. So V and also okay. Ctrl C. The major thing about designs that make them very cool is the background. So once you're done with your design and you can get a very nice background, you're good. Just trying to use my eyes to gauge it. I can remove this using Control, what do you call this sign? That would be, is that colon, semicolon, colon? That would be colon. Colon, semicolon. I think semicolon. So Control semicolon to activate your rulers. Control semicolon. Now another thing we need to add is our triangles. Triangles. So you come here, triangle, you create one. You hold the Shift key to ensure the sides are even. Make it white, fill white, stroke white, V. Ctrl C. So I can rotate. Use this Shift key to Ctrl Shift. Okay, let us rotate. Yeah. Ctrl Enter. Make them smaller. You can use your arrow key or we can just zoom in. Use your arrow key when necessary. Let's see, is this good enough? Maybe too big. Ctrl T, a little bit smaller. Enter. Ctrl Z. Zoom out. Why is it not zooming? Ctrl Z. I can't zoom out. Ctrl minus for some. Okay, I see. My keyboard is somewhere else. Normal. Normal. Okay. V. Okay, I'm back. I still can't zoom out. Something is wrong. Ctrl S. Let's save first before we lose all of our hard work. Exhibit this, should see flyer, save. Okay. Let me just keep doing that copy. Just turn this off, put it on normal days, and I'll just close everything. Let's restart the Photoshop. No. Yes. Okay. Open it again. So in case you have technical issue like this, you could just restart your system or just restart your Photoshop setup. Launch. And you wait for it. Click on it. Okay, let me see if it has been resolved. Ctrl 0. And we're back. Okay. I'm going to just use the Alt key to create a copy. Use the Shift key to align it. So Alt Shift. Use your arrow key to move it down. Another one. Alt Shift. Alt. Click and drag. Shift. Like that. Ctrl 0. So we've grouped that triangle. Where's the text? Okay. Ctrl G. Let's call it bullet points. More like triangle points. Triangle points. Enter. Alright, so we've done this. You can move it to be in the center. So scale acquisition resting on it. Let's see. So after that we have a white, okay. So what can we do? There are various ways we can do this. Let's just use the marquee tool. Let's create a new layer. Still using your marquee tool, M for the marquee tool. Then G to paint over it, or you could just do solid color. Okay, to that back, D, X, paint over it. We can't see anything. Let's move it forward. So Ctrl D to deselect. So if it is too much, you could reduce it by just moving it downwards. So the next thing we need to put there is the Nuesa logo and the Empower logo. Okay, we have a copy of the Nuesa logo here. So what we could just do is this. Ctrl J for the Nuesa logo, Ctrl C, bring it down here. But if it is white, how will I be able to see anything? Can I zoom in here? It is white, doesn't matter. Move it up. Ctrl C, bring it in. So make it smaller. Up, Ctrl Enter. Alright. So Nuesa logo copy. Okay, before that, Ctrl C. If this is like this and you don't like it, you can just right click, convert to smart object. Where's our convert to smart object? Okay, there we are, Ctrl C. Okay, so you can easily move it around. Or could also rasterize it. Where is it? Rasterize layer. So that will remove the extra space on top. So that the extra space that used to be there is gone. Ctrl Z, smart object, Ctrl C. You see the extra space, and the logo is just this small. So when you rasterize removes the feature. The essence of a smart object is when you double click, you can go in and your initial element, you can still work on it. And anything you do, it reflects at the end over here. So if I make this like this and enter Ctrl S, by the time I come back here, you see it's like that. That's the essence of a smart object. It preserves the quality and the details of what you are doing, so you can always go back in to make some dynamic changes. By the time you rasterize it and you convert it to smart object later, when you double click, the only thing you just see is the logo. So all of those features are gone. So you have to know what you are sacrificing it for. So Ctrl T, bring it down, minus. Okay. Ctrl Enter. Now I also need the Empower logo. Elements. Empower. So this is the logo here. Okay, it's a smart object already. Make it smaller. Oh, okay, the logo is even by the side, so I don't even need that, right? Let's see. Yeah, the logo is by the side. So we won't be needing this. Off you go. Let's call this Empower Footer tag, Ctrl C. I want to place it in the center, Ctrl Enter, bring it down. So let's make it bigger. So I think this is good. Let's zoom in, let's see. The logo is, should we just switch this on, bring it in front, just because of quality, just cover it. Not like this one says that excellent anyway. Let's leave it like this. Okay. Should we turn it off? Let's turn it off. So Ctrl C, put it in the center also. Okay, so this is it. Enter. So let's see, is there any other thing that was done here? Ctrl 0, Ctrl minus, Ctrl 1. What else? Okay, we need sort of like a PNG file that is techy, a symbol of some sort. I think this is good. Z, zoom in, V, Ctrl C, make it bigger, Nope, okay. Even if it goes up and it is revealing some parts, what we can do is the same concept of a vector marks, M for your marquee tool, G for your gradient tool. Because it is black, it's eliminated. So Ctrl D to deselect, V. Okay, it has erased part of our logo. I can use a brush to paint it back. No, X white, paint it back, Ctrl 0. Okay. So now that I've done this, we also need to look at, let's simulate the arrangement. Let's look. So for this preview, where are you? For this preview, let's do something. If we do this, we drag it in. Let's call it simulation. So what we can do is, for the department, we can say the department is supposed to be here, from here to here for the text. So this is when you want to do exact copycats, but you don't necessarily need this. Here to here. Then let me remove this. Skill acquisition here. Then the other one starts here, ends here. Okay, so you can turn this off and we can see that we have some things to move around, but this is not necessary if you don't want to, if what you're doing is not necessarily doing a copycat. But just move everything till you see that, okay, it suits you. So that's department, right? The next thing is the icon. Ctrl C, move it up, okay? So we see that they are bigger. Let's see. Okay. And the department text is smaller. Alright, so for skill acquisition, the text goes in. The remaining one, where are they? Ctrl C, make it bigger. So let's centralize it. Let's move it around. Ctrl Enter, bring it down. Okay. Now the next thing we need is Ctrl apostrophe. Remove that. So we need those. We need this sort of iconic representation. Okay. If you look at our text, so it shouldn't. It's just between this place. All right. So what we can do is this. See, bring this in. Bring it in. Bring it in. Now see that some things are not showing, so we can now reduce the text size. Let's try 9. Training dates. Okay, so this is cool. For the triangular points, we move them. Ctrl C. Move them closer. Ctrl Enter. V to change back to your move tool. Click out. Okay. V, move it so it looks like bullet points. Training. Okay. And I think we're good like this. The only thing we need is this techie looking icons. So what we can do is we can go to free pick. Let's say tech patterns. Let's see, what can we find? And here I click on free. Let's wait for it. Okay, so we're looking for things like this, technological circuits. Okay, since that's what the word is circuits. Enter. So you can see that we have something similar. We can use this. Just trying to wait for it to load so we can see our options. Options are not coming for. We can just use this one if it's wasting so much time. This is cool. CPU. So now to waste too much time, you could just, wow, I like this. I really like this. So let's go back up now. Let's use this. Let's see. This is an EPS file. I don't use an EPS file, it's so stressful. But I can just copy and paste. Let me use something simple, even though it's an EPS file. So EPS file is just another format for vectors. But the thing is, you can open them with Illustrator if you have them on your laptop. That's Adobe Illustrator. 69.9 MB and my network is sort of slow. Okay, so our download is complete. What I'll just do is I'll cut it, take it to my materials, paste it there, go back. So I'm just going to be, I'll open the Illustrator version since I have Adobe Illustrator installed already. I would do that. Let's make this bolder. Then these icons, let's make it smaller. Make it smaller. Let's leave it at this. Okay. So we're waiting for Adobe Illustrator. Okay, it is on, but these stuffs are out. Are they individual? Okay, so let's go in. Let's remove the background. aside the background, we know that is the background. What we also want to turn off is, let's turn off the background, then the technological circuit background. Let's go in, you should be able to see the text. Yeah, that's it. So what I can just do is, just from Illustrator, I can Ctrl C. If I remember correctly, I should be able to paste it directly. Paste as smart objects, okay. So we brought it in directly from Illustrator. Directly from Illustrator, so we could have this V, move it, then I can have another copy of the same pattern. Holding the shift key, bringing it here. So let's wait for this. What else can I do? Let's make it glow. Let's make it glow. So let's call this Ctrl G, circuit pattern. Circuit pattern, f of x, outer glow. Okay, screen. I don't really like the overlay, multiply. Not necessarily what I want. Outer glow. Let me use something golden. I was thinking it will act more like. Okay, I think my Photoshop is hanging. Let me close Illustrator. Close all. Let's save so we don't lose our file by mistake. You could make this bigger, shifts, click, so make it bigger. Enter, then the Empire logo. Ctrl C, you can make it bigger. Ctrl Enter. So I think we're almost done. Let's see. I'm not even seeing the effect of the outer glow. Cancel. What else can be? Drop shadow. I don't want a drop shadow. This is not bad. Okay, I think I changed my mind. Drop shadow will not be bad. Okay, this is cool. No, yeah, this is cool. Let me move it closer. Let me move the drop shadow. Let me move it so I can literally click on the drop shadow to move it around. So I can do that. Okay, how about we add the same drop shadow to this drop shadow? Let's see if it does any 3D effect size. Okay, spread, we don't want the spread this time. Okay, I think this is good. So let's paste this for the rest of the drop shadow. Copy layer style, or let me click and drag on just the drop shadow. No, Ctrl Z, open up the rest, Scroll down, drop shadow, Alt click and drag, Alt click and drag. Alright, so we've done that. Okay, so the last thing we have here is, let's add the same drop shadow to the logos we have here, to the circle. So, drop shadow, but where we're going on top. Where are these guys? Nila logo. Nisa logo, okay. The ellipse, so drop shadow, Alt click and drag on the ellipse. I don't really like the position. Let us move the drop shadow. Alright, so you could use this to do some cool effects depending on your level of creativity. Okay, I think I want the drop shadow for this one to be the other way, or let me just leave it the way it is. Alright, so the last thing we need is the background pieces screen. So where's the background we were using before? Turn off the other group. Okay, so look at what we have here now. So this is before, just where is it again? Group 1. Okay, so initial background. So this is the initial background we're working on, initial BG. See that? Okay, let's see if we reduce the opacity, what happens. You see this? So let's just try some things out. There are no formulas to this thing. You just have to, okay, you see this is another look. This is another look. Okay, my circuit though, I don't want my circuit to be very obvious. Bring it, yeah, so the circuits are out. So which do we prefer? Let's say various versions. So we could also work on another background, it depends, but the idea is just to get a cool background. Once you have a cool background, it makes your design look better. So let's just check before and after again. Before, after, so that this is looking better. So you could take your time to just refine it, quick export as PNG. Let's say design. Let's call it 000. So we're going to try various variation. So file exports, quick export as PNG, 001, enter. What else can we try? Either no. Still on this, let's turn this off. File exports, quick exports, 003. Turn this off. Let's turn this on. Yeah. File exports, quick export as PNG, 004. So this is just testing what may work. Now we can come back in here to refine. Wow, yes, I like this. Ah, there was a color I saw before. I think this is cool. You can still save on that one. 005. And this is the idea. This is the basic idea. This is the basic principle. So it just depends on your level of creativity. And let us save it without the background. File exports, quick export as PNG, 005. Okay, 006. Now let's go check our preview. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. I like this. I think I like the initial one. This is 4, this is 5, and this was the initial one. So compared to what we had before, let's check the noise initial empower. Alright, so we can now really compare. So we see this. So let's say my two favorites. Let's say compare. Let's compare initial and final. Copy this. Let me see which one do I like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like this very dark one. 003 and 005. 03, 05. Control. Okay, so let's compare. Straight up. 1. So you could still take your time to refine it depending on what you want to achieve. So overall, you see that we've been able to do something very similar, and that is how you create a flyer from scratch. Do also like, subscribe, share, comment, and don't forget our sponsor. Still subscribe to their channel. Also follow them on Instagram. I still remain Rocky Robot Designs, and you can call me the Magic Maker. I will also see you in the next video. Thank you.